How's
Are
your
you
back
feeling good?
Yeah. My neck's finally starting to feel better after getting, like, fucking suplexed by LeBron
It's been a while, hasn't it? When was it? Or was
By
that recent?
LeBron?
Tuesday.
Oh, that time.
Yeah.
I thought you beat him up.
Well, I got him into. I set up the executioner and I started to.
No,
pull
we've
it,
already
and
done the
then he
jiu-jitsu
just,
episode,
like,
guys.
He was not happy.
Yeah, it really pissed him off, apparently.
That was a manly one.
Thank you, man.
One of the previous episodes.
I've honestly been practicing for 2 weeks.
I'm
No.
sure you have. Yeah, it was very petite, is what I called it.
Petite.
It sounds better than. I'm not gonna be like sex. Is it sexist
Is it
if I
sexist?
say it, that it's girly?
We just
I
got
feel
canceled.
like petite could still be related that way because.
That's because you're sexist. No, petite can be anything that's small.
I mean.
No, we're not gonna start being
if you go-
sexist on
if
this
you go-
podcast.
If you go clothes
I'm out.
shopping, though, there's only a petite section in the women's section.
Do you typically go into the women's section?
When I was a child, yes.
Was that forced upon you by your parents? They wanted a girl. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Do you want to start the episode?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Almost Intelligent. I'm Patrick. That's Brad. That's Evan. And today we're going to talk about social media.
Wow, that's good because I forgot who I was. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
So you did a lot of research.
a lot of research and
I created an actual account on a social media page just.
OnlyFans?
for
a
access.
Twitter account.
Yeah, I think is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
So I will say that is kind of an interesting place to start because you really don't use social media.
I really do not. Yeah.
I definitely do. And to the point where like I didn't get onto TikTok because of how unhealthy my habits are already with Instagram, specifically Instagram, less so Facebook. But I think that that's maybe an interesting place to start.
Well,
What's Facebook? Is that like MySpace?
No, but even that,
Yeah.
I think like you just said, that's interesting because me too with TikTok. Same reason. I was like, I dive deep enough in Facebook and Instagram that another platform that I see all these people get obsessed with,
Yeah.
I don't fucking need it. And I think it's kind of a generational thing or an age thing. Like I think people our age, no, because they're on it. Because
Yeah.
they're on it.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize that the endless scrolling is so much easier on a platform like a TikTok. So like,
I don't like. I say I don't have social media. I have accounts, but
You
I
just don't use them.
Ever use them? But
wait,
I'll get on
wait.
like.
When you say you don't use them, do you mean you don't post or you don't actually open the application and go into it?
Hardly opens them.
Pretty much both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't post.
I do go on. I probably use Pinterest like more than anything.
For your cooking needs
That's
and your
the,
tiny home.
that is
that's-
literally the gayest thing you've ever said on the podcast.
That's like death scrolling, dude. It's freaking. It's like
Yeah, for my wife.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing right now?
Like how to decorate the tiny home. So
No, you were saying the mindless scrolling, and I find, and this isn't a plug for either because fuck them all, but I like Facebook, I mindless scroll. Instagram, I mindless scroll more.
Yes.
And the store, I like watch people's stores. I'm like, I don't. And there's so many times per day, that I'm like, why the fuck am I on either of those apps? Like, what am I doing with my life? How my phone like the back of my hand. Sometimes my wife points it out to me, like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And then like 2 minutes later, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So whatever it is, they got us.
Well, I mean, I will say that I recognize to whatever extent the human mind can recognize the way the algorithm is functioning for me, specifically in Instagram. Like Facebook, it's people and their ideas and that kind of stuff, and I just don't really much enjoy it. I either am criticizing other people for their thoughts or I am, in support, and I don't like that. Like Instagram, I have.
It made you feel dirty.
It does. It makes me go, wow, I'm not the person that I want to be, because like my immediate thoughts are like,
Even if it's
this person's
visceral
dumb.
and it's
Judgment.
It's judgment a lot.
Judgment.
Whereas like specifically on my Instagram, there are like 3 or 4 very specific things that are always populating. Like I look at camera stuff, so there's a lot of photography, There's a lot of like how-to videos and that kind of stuff. That stuff pops up. I follow a lot of workout stuff. So a bunch of dudes doing workout routines. The moment
Mostly
that I
just for the dudes.
it's pretty much just for the shirtless dudes. But the moment that I like a video that's outside of that, I then begin to get flooded with this new content. So like it's that, and then like dark art stuff. Like I really like gothic, like drawings and that kind of stuff.
And you give me shit
Seriously,
for Pinterest.
I have a friend that
say he
does.
wasn't kidding.
I have a friend that does like fitness, but it's a female, and I like some of her posts, and now all of like the recommended stuff, if it's not the people that I follow,
Now he just
it's
gets
all just
Lululemon
female.
ads.
It's just female stuff, and like even that really frustrates me. But I like I'll just spend time scrolling through it. I know that if I got onto TikTok, that I wouldn't have any free time. Like I would just spend all of my free time like scrolling. I know
Well,
that.
To build off that, like this is a microcosm of what we do, right? And just think of that on a larger scale. Like there's millions and millions, if not billions, of people throughout the world that are doing that every second of
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
fucking day.
Have you looked at the time that you spend on your phone?
No.
Yes,
So you probably feel okay about yourself when you look at it.
I do.
I
Especially when I
specific-
compare it to my old lady.
Well, that's what I'm
you-
saying.
you
Mine would
should
be
look at
like
yours,
your old
bro.
ladies, and that shit would kill me, man.
Because when you think about the time that you spend awake, as opposed to the time that you spend asleep,
Yeah.
and then take those hours and subtract from them the hours,
It's
that,
probably- yeah.
literally hours that
Yeah.
you spend. Okay, so kind of off topic. I play Call of Duty, and I looked at my time spent on Call of Duty, and on this new Call of Duty, it's days, like weeks
Yeah.
of time of my life
Yeah.
that I've spent on this video game, and I'm like,
How's that possible? Like you're so
first
busy
of all,
working,
how?
you
Yeah,
gotta, like,
how is
this
it possible?
But it happens.
But also, if I was using 74 days or whatever, I don't really remember the number, but whatever the number was on, I don't know,
Anything
like
else.
anything else, like to build myself.
Yeah.
That is a thing that I have
How much of a
set.
better person would you be?
That,
worse.
Or worse. But like that time, but I isolate that time. Like I know I have to finish work. I know I have to, spend time with my children. Like it's these 2 hours at night on these certain days. And I feel like I'm not using that much time. So if that's how I feel about that, when I look at my social media use, which is like as easy as just grabbing the phone, picking it up, opening it up, and the 2 or 3 seconds to open it up turns into 4 minutes. Now 4 minutes doesn't feel like a lot, but when you do that,
A few
Throughout
times every,
the day.
a few times every hour, that shit adds up.
So
there-
look at your
anytime
numbers.
Anytime I have looked at my number, I'm like, how the fuck
it's
is that possible? I won't look
horrible.
right. I'm
It makes
curious.
you feel, to me, it makes me feel like how disengaged am I from normal situations? It's bad, bro. Yeah, today.
This is today.
Today, bro. Today.
3 hours and 10 minutes, and I've been busy all day. Like,
Right.
But I know that's right. I know it's right.
Of course it's right. Like the phone is just gonna tell you the numbers. It doesn't
And
have
it's all
a.
Instagram
where
and
do you go to
Facebook
look
and
at that?
Messenger.
It's. I mean, it
Go to
is.
settings and usage.
Oh god.
It's
want me to do it
for
so
screen time?
terrifying, man. But at the same, so that's the negative, right? Like that's the bad part of it. But to your point, the thing that we're doing will only reach people. What is
That's got to
yours?
be a record. Has all those millions of people I was just talking
29
about.
minutes.
That's ridiculous.
And it just took me 5
And that's probably
minutes
just
to find
Pornhub.
it.
And
Yeah.
it's probably just Pornhub.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you can't do that now. Actually, you have to register. Did you guys see that about Virginia?
Well,
You have to show your ID if you want to look at pornography.
on all sides? Because I've
On
seen
all
that
of-
popping up on some.
You didn't have to register.
But after this, I'll tell you. 'cause-
You didn't have to register for the other ones. No, but the other part of social media is that it really does give all audiences an opportunity to have something to consume. And so if you have a specific
By the way,
thing,
that's up like 36% from last week.
29
the
minutes.
29 minutes. if you look at, so whatever hyper focused thing you want to research, like if you actually want to research a thing, not just spend time
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
but like I want to learn about X, like I wanted to learn about videography, and so via Instagram, YouTube, even Facebook groups, I was able to go in, and in 2 years advanced significantly from not knowing any fucking thing about videography to being able to film stuff.
Yeah.
And that came from social media.
Yeah.
But that niche population is very small. Like, it isn't the entire country
But it
that's
gives
interested
that
in that.
it gives that population a way to
Exactly what they
connect.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't think that we're in a place to talk about what's good or bad for society. We can only talk about our situations.
Yeah.
And like the thing that I do know is that I feel like I waste a lot of time, but if I didn't have it, I also wouldn't now know the things that I know that benefit me.
So you're saying you use it almost as a tool.
Both. I find myself.
It's a tool and a distraction, though.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've also learned about the gym. Like, I've learned about how to do workouts and routines and nutrition and that kind of stuff because of social media. But how much, I haven't written down how much of my time has been education on social media as opposed to simple.
I mean, that breaks it down too, like what apps you're using, what for those times. Have you ever looked at like, the
my top
individual-
two, like I said, was
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, with Messenger in between there. But yeah.
So my brain though, I can rationalize how I'm educating myself in all those apps.
Right.
Like, I can do that. I can say, well, I got an idea from a thing, but how much of it is it?
But you also like.
I want
Yeah,
that.
it's like you're protecting yourself.
I want to
It's
feel
like-
better
yeah,
that I'm not
yeah,
a piece of shit.
Yeah, which you are.
See that my entire time today is texting either you guys or clients for work, and that's my entire screen time.
So let me ask you.
That are pulling up music to listen to while I'm doing my job.
I get anxiety when I don't have service. Like, coming here and not having like consistent service freaks me out.
Why?
Oh no.
I don't.
I'm the opposite. I crave not having.
So
That's interesting because we were fishing and I told you like a few weeks back, and I said, yo, you were like texting us and we didn't respond for like overnight because we camped out. And I said, right when I got service again, I saw your messages and I said, my bad, we didn't have service. And you like, your response was, that must have been fucking awesome.
yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it,
Yeah.
but I am so accustomed
We all are.
Being
for
connected all the time.
all the time.
Yeah.
And that then bleeds into much more than just social media.
That's what I was gonna say.
That bleeds into like what expectations are from friends, family, everything in your life now has this instant response expectation. And when it isn't met, like, I know me, like in my anxious brain, because of how programmed I am to being able to get the instant response on either social media
Think
or whatever.
about that in just a generation. Like when we were kids, if I wanted to call my buddy, my buddy lived up the street, Kevin, if he wasn't home, tough shit, I better wait.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That there was no, that was it. It was,
Yeah.
oh, Kevin's not home right now. All right, tell him to call me later, or that was it.
And your parents had dial-up internet, and you picked up the phone. And it was beep.
Yeah, or somebody else was on the phone.
But
when
now
you
you
called.
can literally get on these apps. We're talking about social media apps, and you can know what everyone thinks and feels about fucking everything and anything.
Thinks, feels, and where they are. Like, if you're on Snapchat, you
Yeah,
can see if they have
location.
it turned on.
Well, I mean,
it'll
Instagram-
show you literally where they're
Instagram
at.
and Facebook, you could put, location.
Where-
I'm
when
at the
you-
movie. I'm seeing this
Yeah.
the X movie at this location. It's like,
Well, and the other, like, I think the scary thing for me on applications that allow people to express their thoughts, which thankfully I never got into Twitter, and apparently this is like a
Me either.
huge place for
Yeah,
Twitter,
yeah.
a huge issue on Twitter. But like again, back to what I said originally about Facebook, I can't convey to you my perspective on anything in a thing that you're gonna read. Like, I can't. If I truly engage in my thought process, it's going to be so long that no one's going to read it.
Yeah.
And so I try to consolidate into a thing that is digestible in a sentence or two or three sentences. But the issue with that is that you can read that however the fuck you want
Oh,
to.
yeah. It's lacking context. It's lacking your body language. It's so many things that dictate how
it's not
you
human
portray-
interaction.
Yeah,
It's not human
Well,
interaction.
I think that there are certain personalities
And-
that
like I could post something that someone's gonna say, "Oh, well, that guy's wildly racist," and
you are. I mean,
But
they would be right.
Also, but also, if it's not you guys, it's like you guys look at it. Oh, he's being sarcastic
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
If someone else reads it and they're like, "Oh, this guy's like
Well-
wearing a pointy hat," and
Yeah.
I mean,
sheets.
What you do?
I think that like in these conversations, you know, that's why the video recording is so important of it, because my personality does not translate to text very well. Like if I'm truly who I am, the level of sarcasm and innuendo in
Unless
the way
you
that I
know you.
communicate. Right, if you
If
know
you
me,
know you, like in our group chat, we know.
that can never get out.
Yeah, but we know what the fuck we're doing. But that's what's so, like, really, there's
We
not
know
much
what to expect
between our group chat.
and the
All
mindset.
social media is really, it's like a global fucking group chat
But-
without people really knowing each other.
But let me be totally candid with you. If we don't engage, like we haven't engaged for, like in person for 2 weeks, right? So we were consistently
Well.
at least once a week seeing each other in person. I haven't been here for the last 2 weeks, right?
Correct.
So when a text gets sent out, I view it differently, like in the immediacy, than I do
If we had just been together.
if
the day
we had
before.
just been together.
That's, you see? Yeah.
Like, and that's knowing a person, that's having a
And that's on a
relationship,
small scale.
and that's at 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, reading someone's post that you've never actually met
Yeah.
ever,
Yeah.
like you just happen to be friends with them on social media. Now you're trying to understand what they're trying to convey, and I'm assigning my mental state. I'm
Yeah,
assigning
yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I think it serves a great purpose in a lot of ways, but for me, Facebook, because those are the two, Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
it becomes an overwhelming place of like negative reflection.
Well, Twitter too, man. If you go on Twitter all
can't,
day,
dude. I've
all
never-
I mean, I don't use it either. But like, I've read like, I've just went in comment sessions just got here, but I'm like, holy fuck, dude, the amount of hatred. But I found myself doing it too, where like I'll see a post and I'll just be bored, like if my family's asleep, I'm like, I'm just gonna be a dick right now, and I'll just fucking, I'll just dive in. That's being a troll, but like literally, it's just to spark conflict and like, and the response you get, it's like that dopamine hit. It's like, all these people are interacting with the comment I made. I knew what I was doing, and now look what the fuck I did. I just did it with a movie. I'm in this group about this movie just came out, and I commented something like, I don't really give a fuck. But like, I got more likes and comments on that than I have on anything. I'm like, and it's just people debating, talking shit to me. And I'm like, this is so funny. And to me, it's funny, but like some people get really, 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 really upset about that shit.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
most people in my comments may or may have not killed themselves after the interaction they had with other people.
So you saw.
And that's not even political.
No, it doesn't even matter.
So, but so there it gets. So
It's a whole nother depth.
I don't have a big following on Instagram. Like I have a small following, under 1,000 people that follow my Instagram. I do mostly photography. It's mostly pictures of other people. That's what my account mostly
Thank
is.
God.
But what I did post probably back in like October of last year, I did a photo shoot with another photographer, and she did made me look like the Joker.
Yeah, that was dope.
And like some other, like there was like a native indigenous kind of like paint. It was a cool shoot, right?
You were still ugly, but it was dope.
And so a friend of mine had said, oh, you should hear this like little quote from a movie.
Oh, yeah.
And so I took the quote from the movie.
Yeah.
And essentially it's a person questioning God, if God is real and this and that. And it meant nothing to me. Okay? It just was like
You were like,
the
this is-
tone
cool.
sounded
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's cool, yeah.
And like the way that he speaks was perfect for me to cut
Yeah.
pictures and put them into transitions,
Yeah,
right?
It was perfect.
Most of my views on like pictures, likes, or views on reels get like 100, 200 views. I mean, it's nothing. No one's looking at them. This hit almost 100,000 views on it. It had, I don't know, hundreds of comments. And
Yo,
it
and the
was
comments were, you told me, like,
Yo.
don't read these. I was like, holy
like
fuck, dude.
it was people like we're gonna kill you. Like you deserve
Like
to
a
die.
lot of people.
Yeah, you deserve to die. And then there were other people that were coming to my defense, and I literally never said
Anything to anyone about it.
anything. I didn't engage, but
I won't tell you
can-
about my shadow account they commented.
It's like, that was all me. Shadow accounts.
to your point of like that dopamine hit, I really had a conversation with two of my friends that was like, well, what if I just start doing this kind of content? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not reaching people right now with my photography. I'm not reaching, but if I just did this, like I
Yeah.
have the look.
That's so interesting.
If I did that thing, How would that like right now, that would help the podcast. That would help like so much because I could reach people based on what? On a thing that's not real. And then I look at people like Tucker Carlson. I look at people like whoever other blowhard or whatever. Like that's not really them.
Kanye West.
I think that's
that
really
really
him.
is.
No, that's not really
They're
them.
just good. They're like, if I play this character, if I do this, I'm
I'm gonna make it.
people are watching me.
Yeah.
People are interacting
I'm
with,
going-
with what I'm putting out there.
I'm going to get some kind of response, whether it's positive or negative.
And so the thing about social media is it isn't enough to see it. So if you remember like YouTube 10 years ago, YouTube, and you still can, you monetize based off how many people are viewing your thing. And now over the years, it's been how many people are subscribing
Yeah.
and liking,
Yeah.
and you have to reach a certain place.
Comes back to
before-
algorithm. That
and
gets
so
you right in the algorithm. Yeah.
for the social media though, it isn't just viewing, it's engaging. What are your engagements? Meaning, how many people not only are looking and watching it, but how many people of them are commenting and sharing and now spreading that message? And that's now what's going to put you higher on that algorithm.
With podcasts, it's reviews on the different platforms.
Exactly. And so it's like, it makes sense to find that thing that makes you divisive, like the thing that makes you.
But look at the wickedness in that. Like that shit is it's evil. Like,
Yeah, man.
Because even when you said it, I was like, yo, that's sinister way to think. But you're absolutely correct. If the goal is to get more people interacting with it, then you're right. You're absolutely right. Instead of your pictures, your photography is incredible, your videography is incredible. But if none of those people are watching that, and if you can make something divisive, fuck
They'll
yeah.
go there.
But Jets, you're one person, so you put that on like I said, millions, billions of people. We got a fucking issue, man. That shit's fucking wild, and you're right.
It's altering the way that we view how we need to engage.
My grandmother, who passed away before
But
all
also-
exists, she couldn't even fathom that's even a thought. Oh, if I post it, like that wouldn't even make sense. Like I'm gonna do this thing that makes people mad, and that's gonna make me more popular, make more money, and it's like, what the fuck? How the fuck did we get there?
Yeah, but I don't know. I still feel like there's a certain group of people that, don't get me wrong, they still have that on social media, but when they're not posting, when they're actually interacting with each other, it's that persona doesn't exist.
No, yeah, I think that's true for everyone. I actually meant that for all persons, not just the famous person that I happen to name.
Like I didn't even care, and I know you didn't. I know you posted that. It was like, oh, this sounds cool.
Yeah, that just sounded cool.
This is artistic.
Yeah, it just sounded cool.
And it was like, but to other motherfuckers, it was like you were like saying "fuck God."
Yeah, man.
It's like, dude,
I mean, and even if I did, like, if you, I've now edited multiple episodes of ours, and my next thing to do is to go in and find little highlights, right? Little highlights that we can post, 30 seconds or whatever.
All anti-God stuff.
And so, if we find, like, if I were to take the clip of the jiu-jitsu thing, which I'm really thinking that's going to be one of our first things to put out, but that is hilarious to us. And we all know each other. But if that is the introduction for a brand new person that's never seen anything, that knows nothing, they're going to be likely to come in just so they make a comment and then argue with people that are either supportive or against the thing. Like that's,
Oh man.
honestly, that's how I look at it. Like it's the marketing. It's it's the marketing of it. And I think that it has, I can only speak for myself, but I do view other people and even the things that they post on their personal social media when they have no no business or no like thing that they're trying to promote, they still want to promote themselves. Like that's the other thing of social media is now everyone's a brand. Like now it's not, major corporations. Now it's not, oh, I started an LLC and this is my business. No. You are now the brand. Like when you think of a podcast, you don't think of, you think of the person, the entity. Like, Joe Rogan's got the #1 podcast in the world. You think of him. He is the brand. He is the thing that he's selling.
Or at least what I know him to be from where I'm sitting on
Right.
the sides, where,
And so like that's a hyper version of that. But look at the amount of people that are quote unquote influencers. The only thing that they're providing is their brand, their thing that they pitch to you in their 30-minute reel or 30-second reels, 1 minute long reels.
And that's why Pat's kids are all hooked on Pride.
That's right.
that there's something to that though.
Yeah.
The Logan Paul, like They don't even know why they like it.
Yeah, I asked them directly like multiple times now, and they're like,
Because influencers,
Yeah.
influence push it. It's owned by them, and it's been pushed so much in their face, and all the kids do.
Yeah.
Dude, at the soccer tournament a couple months ago, the coach at the first game had to be like, "Yo, we're not here to talk about the new Prime flavor. We're about to play a game in 30 minutes. It's our first tournament. Like, get it together, boys." And but like we're laughing, but like all the parents, half the parents didn't know what the fuck Prime was. And it's like, but the kids, they knew it was like a Lemonade Prime came out, and they couldn't fucking it was like blowing their fucking little minds.
So let me ask you a question. You being a parent and you being a person that just doesn't utilize social media, so you see, other persons that are heavily into it, that are either in your generation or younger than you, does it frustrate you guys? Does it concern you guys? What's your perspective of it?
It definitely, like, even in my relationship, it frustrates the hell out of me because she'd show you her screen time and it's like 9-10 hours a day. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, she's usually reading a book or something like
Sure,
that.
yeah.
But it frustrates me because my perception is, you're connected to this, but you're so disconnected from everything else.
Right.
Like you said about time management, you could be doing so much more to improve yourself. I feel. I mean,
For all of us, anybody, never.
but
You as in the
yeah,
general population.
yeah. But
But especially your old lady.
yeah, especially.
You got a lot of work.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's gotten to a point where it can be used as an educational tool. Like you said, YouTube. I love watching YouTube videos to learn different things. I love getting ideas from, gay Pinterest.
Is that a different app? Yeah. Got it.
All those things. But I mean, there's also that, death scrolling, that toxic fight in the comment section. Mm-hmm. I mean, that can't be good for you long term. My perception is.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about you with the kids?
It makes me feel like I remember, like, my dad, God bless him, he still, like, he thinks everything was the best in, like, the 60s and, like,
Right.
best movies.
Yeah.
Best bands, best everything. Like, nothing's been on that level since then. I'm like, do you know how much has been created since then? And it makes me, so I'm like, this old motherfucker's disconnected. It frustrates me with my kids, and that's my initial response constantly to this day. But then I'm also like, maybe I'm just getting to the point, like we talked about TikTok. Like, maybe I just don't get it. And that's how I feel. I just feel like I don't think it's a good thing, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm just so disconnected to whatever the fuck it is that they're experiencing. It scares the shit out of me. It truly does. This stuff, and I see my son, my oldest son just got a phone, and I see him, it's like me when I was a fucking cokehead, like, it'd be like there's a line broke out in the other room, you just go look at the phone, and I'll be like every day, today, like 10 times a day, I'm like, yo, why do you have your phone again? And he can't even tell me. Today he was like watching some kind of short on TikTok or something in the bathroom, and he like didn't know I was in there. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, nothing. Like, shoves his phone in the pot. I'm like, see, I'm not mad. What were you looking at? He doesn't even know. It's just the scrolling. There was a video up, and whatever's on the other side of it just had his attention.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree that there's a lot that can be bad and toxic inside of it. I'll give you a bit of a. I'm really fortunate, I think, in the way that I experience life. So, like, right now I'm reading a Stephen King book called 1922. It's a horrible fucking book. Like, it is the most disturbing book, but it's based in 1922. And it's about a farmer and his wife and their kid, and he and his kid murder the wife, okay? And the way that they talk about the situation, everything in their life is so different than anything that I can possibly relate to. And the way that I hear them relate with the world, of course, this is a horror fiction, but
100 years ago.
right, but it is specific to a certain time, and it helps you get put into a place that they are at the time, which is solidarity, which is it's just an interesting perspective. And so I think like that person would never understand how we function here. Like one of the things that he says is like the only honor that a man has is his property. Like that's his thing. His thing is like the only thing that I have in this world is this land. Like that's everything to him. That's his kingdom, that's his whatever. And so things are going to change. And things are going to change as quickly as we allow them to as a society. And we're in this snowball of technology that has gotten away from us in such a quick way. But I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad in the way it's uncomfortable because of how different it is. Because one of the things that we do, and we will always do, in the same way that you romanticize a song or a love or a friendship that you had when you were 13 and 14 and 15, or your situations or a movie or whatever, like you romanticize it because it was such an important thing and it's what you remember. But that doesn't necessarily make it better than a thing that's occurring today. You just hold it in some high regard. And so when society starts to alter from the thing that you think is so incredibly important, now it's scary and now it's so different. I don't see how my kid looking at his phone and I don't 100% get it. I get it enough because I do it too much. I don't do it like he does it, but I look at it like when I was 12 and compared to my parents, what they did when they were 12 to what I did. So I don't know, it doesn't necessarily scare me because I think the world is going to be as damaging or as not damaging as it's going to be to a child, no matter what the situation is. The kid is going to have experiences. You take the fucking phone away and it turns into another thing. Like there's always going to be a vice, there's always going to be whatever the fuck it is. You know, if you don't have a cell phone or you don't have a TV and you're out in the woods, like what is it then? You start pondering and horrible, like I don't know. There's just an infinite amount of opportunity for us to go to negative places if that's ultimately what we're gonna fucking do.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it'd be perfect if like Elon Musk would just get in a cage and fight. which as funny as it is, that's literally about to happen. So that shit is the most. It's just like what a fucking time to be alive, man.
For cage fights?
For fucking.
The same thing. I think that every decade, every couple of decades, there are these monumental things that we assign value to, and it's gonna be like this forever until we stop existing.
So eventually, social media will be obsolete, inevitably.
I don't know. I think it'll morph into something else.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's bound to. I mean, technology and the way that it may exist is something we can't even fathom. So, in a simple sort of...
I mean, 100 years ago, could you even imagine picking up a cell phone and calling somebody?
I mean, bro, okay, so what was it, Star Trek in the 80s? It was like a big deal when they had the thing where they could communicate with one another, and that was fake.
Dick Tracy?
But
that shit that did not exist. They'd be like, that's fucking...
it was from the future that they were flying in fucking UFOs, starships, and literally that is old technology to us. Yeah. Like that was 12 years ago.
I can't even watch those shows, which I loved growing up. It's like,
this is stupid. This is dumb. I mean, when I think of like TVs, when I think of when I was 19, when I was 17 and I moved into my apartment, I had this enormous 20-inch TV that was like fucking back-breaking to pick up and to put on, and now you can buy TVs that are as thin as your glass. Yeah. Like as thin as your fucking glass. Like it is that fucking thin.
Besides your penis.
Exactly. Yeah. And so when I see just those advances, we just can't even begin to think what technology is going to be.
It scares me.
Now, I remember watching because I really love to listen to music, especially when I'm at work. I remember watching a movie and seeing a guy with, at the time they didn't exist. It was a prop for the movie. They just cut the wires off of some earbuds. and he's just walking down the street, kind of jamming out. I'm like, where can I get those? Those are awesome. And now, you know, $5 or whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, technology has done some incredible things, and I mean, I think that the fun part of social media, if we allow it to be fun, is just we just don't know what's going to happen with it, and we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know where it's going to take us. I prefer to think that all of these new scary things, because they are scary, they're changing us in the way that we engage with life. They're just new opportunities for us to fall into new things. I mean, I think our life trajectory has vastly changed for communities that otherwise would not have that access. Again, you know, if you rewind to people that didn't have income that was easily accessible in the 80s, the idea of being an entrepreneur or whatever, it's just very removed. Whereas now, you could stumble into a thing on social media. I mean, you have kids that are 14 years old that play a video game and put a cell phone behind them, and now all of a sudden they're getting $100 donations. Yeah, I mean, and so, you know, people look at a lot of the social media and influencers and go, oh, these people are stupid, they're not working, they're not whatever, but they're putting in effort, they're changing their lives. You know, fuck how other people feel about it.
I think that's a limited perspective too, because there's actually a lot of work that goes into a lot of that.
There's a lot of work that goes into it. I mean, for us to shoot this thing, to do this, like the amount of time and effort that goes into this, we're doing once a week that ultimately is going to come out. Imagine a daily thing.
I had to drive all the way over here.
I want it to be
You walk downstairs.
I want it to be daily, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work, but I don't know, man. I'm pretty excited. Maybe there's fear in it. Maybe there's whatever. But
you know who would be willing to do the work?
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And Shutter Island.
While he's on Shutter Island?
Shutter Island.